everyone, welcome back to Crafting at Whimsy Wonderland. My name is Stacy. This is day number 3 of Christmas in July, and I'm going to show you how to make a cute little Christmas bunting banner. I'm going to be using this craft paper backed burlap that I got at Hobby Lobby. It's by Craftsmith. I did get this 2 or 3 years ago after Christmas. But I have seen it there in individual sheets as well as in a tablet, so it should still be available there. This one is available in greens and reds as well as a natural. I've used up most of the natural on my Easter one, but there is still a little bit left. And each color comes in a stripe, a solid, a polka dot, and a zigzag. And so I have that in green and red. And I'm going to be cutting those into triangles. Like this that are left over from my Easter banner, and then I'm going to cut out some letters on my Cricut to spell out Merry and Christmas, and it'll make up 2 separate banners. So what you need is some paper, depending on what you want it to say, or if you want it to say anything at all. That'll depend on how many triangles you need. So what you need to do is get a piece of cardstock that measures 4 3/4 inches by 6 inches. This is to make your pattern for the banner that you're going to cut out. Now I folded it in half so I knew where the center point was, and I just simply drew up from the corners to the center and cut it out. Okay, and then about a 1/2 inch in on each side, that's where I punch my holes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and tear out one of these pieces of paper, and as you can see, it's pretty thick. It's almost as thick as cardboard, but it's burlap paper, and it's been backed with craft paper, so it's really solid and sturdy. So it's not going to ravel or make a mess or come out of the pad. So what I'm going to do is turn my paper over, and I'm going to start by lining up my pattern along the straight edge in the corner. And I'm just going to trace that. Make sure you have a really sharp pencil when you do this so that you get them all to be the same. Now I'm going to line that up, flip it over, line it up, trace that one. You want to have all the same print all the way across, or perhaps you want a print and a solid to alternate. That's the look I like. Otherwise, this much print gets a little bit busy. So I would do one of these and then a solid green, one of these and a solid green, or maybe one of these and a solid red, and then switch back and forth. So like I say, I'm going to do enough to say Merry Christmas, and so I'm going to get these cut out, and I will come back as soon as I'm done with that. Hi guys, I'm back. I have already cut out all of my triangles and punched the holes in them. This is going to be a 2-piece banner. It will say Merry up top and Christmas on the bottom. I decided to go with a print and a solid and alternate the green and the red for Christmas. And then I'm going to cut out letters out of cardstock with my Cricut machine and glue them on once I get it all strung to where I like it. So you could use vinyl letters if you wanted, but it would have to be some pretty super sticky vinyl to stick to this burlap and stay for any length of time. And I want this to be reusable, so I don't want it to be falling apart after the first year. So I'm going to go ahead and use cardstock and glue it on using hot glue and tacky glue to do that. I tried painting some on, but I was trying to use a stencil, but the burlap was just too rough and I couldn't get a nice smooth looking solid letter, so I'm going to go with the cardstock letters. Now I'm going to string these banner pieces on just some jute twine. I am going for a rustic look, so I like the way the jute is not real smooth and even. It's really chunky and natural. So the first thing I'm going to do is start over here, and I'm going to go from the back across the front and out the back again. And I'm going to pull this down a little ways because I'm not sure how much length I'm going to need yet. So just alternate green, red, or red, green. You might have to put a little tape over the end of your twine to keep it from raveling if it gets too bad. That's how you can do it and make it like a shoestring. So I'm going to pull this through, and I'm just going to string it I like to have the jute going across the front. If you don't like that look, here's what it would look like if you did it the other way. I'm going to go ahead and put some tape on this to make it kind of like a shoestring, kind of like a needle, so it goes through a little easier. So if I don't want the jute going across the front, then I'm going to start at the front, thread it through the back, and then you have it looking like that. So it's up to you what look you want, but I like the jute going across the front because I think that just adds to it a little bit. So I'm going to start from the back, go across the front, and call it good. I have all of my pieces to the first banner strung on. I can decide how big I want the banner to be. So I'm going to make a loop, just a simple loop like so. And I'm going to make it a little bigger, and I'm going to tie a knot. This becomes what the banner will hang from. So I'm going to slide these down, and the knot to the first pennant piece is 3 fingers wide. You can measure it if you want. I'm just going to use my fingers because I don't want to be getting my ruler out all the time. So that just gives it a little bit of flexibility for the hanger part so that you can get a nice arch on it when you're hanging it. I'm going to cut off the end. I'm going to make a loop. I'm going to give myself my 3 fingers worth of space, and I'm going to give myself a little extra because once you tie the knot, it gets smaller. So there's my first pennant, and it'll say Merry, M-E-R-R-Y. Okay, once I get everything tied on, I will probably go on the back side, like right here, and put a little tiny dot of hot glue, just 1 dot per pennant, just to keep it from sliding. Next, I will string the pennants for the part that says Christmas, and I will cut out the letters, and we'll make a banner. Now, I'm also thinking about doing one with reindeer on it. I thought that might be kind of cute. Get some little cartoonish reindeer, put a reindeer on each one. Might be really adorable. I also might do that with a more square pennant piece. So anyway, lots of ideas floating through my head right now, but this is the first step. This part is Merry, and I will get Christmas done, and I will be back. Okay guys, I'm back. I have all of my banner pieces strung, and I've cut out my letters for Merry Christmas. I used this black cardstock, which I purchased at Walmart. It's just a plain flat black cardstock. And then I used the storybook cartridge for my Cricut machine, and I used this one right here, which is the shorty holes setting on the Cricut. And I have cut these at 2 inches. I'm just going to work on the Merry one because trying to get Christmas all on frame, it's too big. It's hard to work with. So I'm going to squish these over here. So here's my M. I'm going to glue that on. E, R, R, and Y. And I just love this little curly Q. Got my Y backwards, and I think I have my M backwards as well. Okay. So I'm going to bring these letters down almost as far as they'll go. I want them to be level when they hang. So I'm just going to kind of see how I'm lining up and bringing down the bottom of the letter. And I'll put a tiny little pencil mark once I get these set. I'm just eyeballing them being centered, but I am trying to get them really close as far as level. And I'm going to put a little mark, just a tiny one, because you don't want to be able to see it. I said I was going to use hot glue, but I changed my mind. I think I'm just going to use all tacky glue. And I'm going to be a little bit liberal with it. I want to make sure that I get all the way to the edges. And I'm going to get glue all over my desk because that's just the way I roll. I'm going to find my little mark. Oops. And I'm going to put this down. And then I'm going to take my bone folder And I'm really going to rub on it and make sure that it gets down into that burlap. Those are all burnished down, and there is my finished Mary sign. Okay, guys, sorry I couldn't get the whole banner onto the frame. It was just too big. But this is the finished banner. It's really cute, and I hope that you'll go out and give this a try yourself. This has been day 3 of Christmas in July, crafting at Whimsy Wonderland. Thanks for stopping by. See you next time.